Do women know what they do? All right, how do I say this? Do women know what they really want in a man in a relationship? You know,
or just in general.
With several billion members, the human race is divided in two distinct sexes, male and female. While men are simple creatures requiring only the most rudimentary of emotional needs to be satisfied, there is a subgroup classified as the nice guy, a dying breed of chivalrous, romantic, domesticated gentlemen whose qualities are desired by the opposite sex. Allegedly. However, they are dismissed, scoffed, and confined in such concepts as the bestie, work husband, and the dreaded friend zone.
You don't think this is a little bit too dramatic? Just let it happen.
Joe and Jason are the last of the nice guys.
Hey, what's up, people? It is Thursday. I don't know why I said that, but
I don't know why you said that either.
I wanted to add that in case people forgot what the day of the week was.
Welcome. That's the day that we're recording this. This is coming out in like 2 weeks.
Anyway, welcome everybody to the Last of the Nice Guys podcast. I am one half of your host, Joe, and my devilishly charming co-host.
I'm the other half,
Jason.
/
the brains of the operation, Jason.
/ frustrated partner / frustrated producer.
/ shut the fuck up.
/ forever alone.
No, you're not. You have me. So anyway,
of course.
So welcome everybody. So glad that you can join us on this wondrous. Well, I'm cold because I'm in New York. I guess.
When you first turned on the camera to your like, I was like, wait a minute, this dude is all dressed up like he's an Eskimo. I'm like, why is he still in Florida?
I apologize. Good thing you brought that up, my devilishly handsome friend. I'm actually doing a remote podcast right now with you guys. I'm currently using my phone, and not that I want to, because I don't like using Skype on my phone, but for now I have to because I had to take care of business for.
I have to say the audio is much clearer on your phone while you're walking with data than it is at your place on your laptop.
You've actually said that before. You have said that before.
I'm making it very clear. I'd prefer this than your bootleg Wi-Fi. All right, so what's our topic for today? Well, actually, it's my topic actually.
It is. I was about to say I shouldn't be introducing you.
Sorry. All right. So the topic, it's mine. It's my turn. I'm so proud. And it's, do women know what they do? All right, how do I say this? Do women know what they really want in a man in a relationship?
Or just in general.
Well, in general, but we're gonna just touch on their preferences and what kind of men attract them and what they claim they want from a man versus what they actually are attracted to and what they seem to give chances to and are attracting to themselves.
Absolutely.
So, without further ado, this actually was inspired by. It's funny. It's a geek video. It's Mr. Plinkett Attack of the Clones review. I don't know and he gets to a point where I was watching it, but he gets to a point where he's like, "This is what women want," and I find it funny. So I'm going to play the full audio for you guys, and then we're going to discuss. So here we go.
Now, what women are looking for is a little more complex. Their list is as follows.
Does he have a good job? Where does he live and what kind of car does he drive?
He
needs to be confident without being too arrogant. He needs to be funny, but not like goofy funny. He needs to be tall, but not too tall or like weird. He should be spontaneous, but only when I'm expecting it. Handsome is a plus, and handsome with good hair is better. No baldies. LOL. He needs to know the exact time to say all the right things.
He needs to know the right time not to say anything.
He really needs to know how to treat me like the woman I am, both in the bedroom and when we're out on the town. He needs to be family-oriented and good with kids, but not too good with kids, like in a creepy clown way.
He needs to be intelligent, or at the very least, money smart, so we can know how to invest for retirement, the kids' college fund, and our funeral expenses. He can have his friends and do things with them, but only when it's convenient for me.
He needs to care about me, but not be too controlling. You know, sometimes I just want to go out and have fun with the girls, and he needs to be okay with that and not get all like,
stop.
hey, where
Thank
are you
That'll
going?
be all.
Okay, so
Wow.
that's funny because of course it's a satire on
Yeah, of course.
but the simple fact of the matter is that it's also very accurate, because some of the things that the woman is saying are contradictory or damn near oxymorons. I like a man that's spontaneous, but only when I'm expecting it. That's not that doesn't make any sense, you know.
No.
But that's some women are. I want a good guy, but he has to, but with a bad streak, you know what I'm saying? It has an edge to it. It's, I want a guy that understands that I'm an independent woman, but I need him to be assertive and tell me what to do. Like,
what's funny is that as like comedic and as much satire as that was, sadly, and you know this as well as I do, half of those things are really true and actually accurate. Yeah. That's the sad fucking part about.
I was waiting for your eye to twitch when he says that he needs to be good with money and save.
Oh my god!
That is actually what really inspired me to one, choose this topic and to play this clip, because when I heard that, I busted out laughing because of your previous stories with your spouse. Yeah. So
absolutely.
So I mean, like, let's really get into it now. women as a whole, they claim to want to date a nice guy, but their definition of a nice guy isn't necessarily our definition of a nice guy. And then when they are approached by a nice guy, they tend to friend zone them, not like them, keep them as work husbands or as besties. Now, because we are called the last of the nice guys, and because as nice guys are former nice guys in my current description of myself, it makes you wonder, because you'll sit there and be around women saying, why can't I find any good guys? And good guy, nice guys is synonymous. And you'll see this all the time. All guys are the same. I can't find any good guys. You've seen those memes where a girl will be like, I can't find any good guys, and a good guy who's her best friend is sitting there like, what the hell? I'm right here.
Exactly.
And I've been in that position before, where I've been around women that I've had feelings for. They know I have feelings for them, and they had the nerve to say, I can't find any good guys, or are dating guys that are absolutely have red flags. There's a good example. There was this girl I used to work with, and me and her, we had something. There was a connection there, always was, but she never gave me a shit. It was just fine, just whatever. But then this one guy comes in, and it's funny how I get wrapped up to this little triangle. He was actually dating my friend, and he met her. So when he met her at my job, they hit it off. They got it in. And he wasn't shy about it. He had 3 kids from another woman. He almost never saw them.
Oh,
okay.
This one.
And he was honest about this. He almost never saw them. He didn't pay any child support. He didn't really support them. He's just living his life, staying. I believe he was staying with his mother at the time. And tell me why, flash forward, he ends up getting that girl that I like pregnant, and my friend pregnant at the same time.
Ooh, so he was dirty. He was doing what they call doing the dirt.
Yeah, but it's not just that though. The fact of the matter is, that, but it's not just that. The fact is, I know that they both knew what this guy was about.
Right.
He has 3 kids. He never sees them. And while you guys are messing with him, he doesn't call them, talk to them. He doesn't go around them. You know this. What part of that behavior made your panties wet? You know what I'm trying to say?
I think it was the I don't care attitude also. Like,
no, you can be aloof. You can not care. But you have kids. My friend didn't have kids. That was her first kid with him. But the girl
Right.
that I liked, she had kids. You know what I'm
Ooh.
saying? So
Okay.
you are dating a guy who you know doesn't even care about his own kids, and if you're getting serious with him, you think he's gonna care about yours? You know, what did you see about his behavior that seemed remotely close to sexy?
Exactly. What was it?
She gave this dude the cooter. She gave this dude a chance, and she was embarrassed. I mean, she had to be embarrassed, you know. And I got roped into it because they found out because the girl that liked me found out that I knew the girl his girlfriend, and I'm just like, and I remember saying out loud, "How am I in a four-way, but I'm the only one not getting any?"
Exactly.
I was so
I was
shocked.
just about to. I was just
Yeah,
about to ask that
yeah.
question. How?
To the point where I told my friend and the girl that I liked, I said, F you both, leave me alone. I'm out of this. I don't even want to be in this. It's got nothing to do with me. You're not sleeping with me. She's not sleeping with me. I'm not in this. You guys are swapping your own bodily fluids with each other, and then the two would come together and unite against him. Then one would secretly go back to him. The other would secretly go back to. It was a
It was,
train.
yeah, a back and forth bullshit debacle.
It
Yeah.
was a train wreck, and I'm sitting here like this guy. I mean, is he a good-looking guy? Yeah, I guess, but there's nothing appealing about him when it comes to personality. And I thought that's what you want. You want a stand-up guy. You want a guy that has morals and values, especially if you're a parent. But nope, I guess not. But that's what I was told. So there's examples like these that drive me nuts. I mean, I would assume you have some examples, you know, when you were in the dating world.
I do. I mean, I had a few back in the day, where, you know, I was being portrayed, and I don't think I ever lost that touch of quote unquote being a nice guy, because I've always been a selfless jerk, and I think that's the perfect explanation of how you would have described me back in the day. I was selfless in the fact that I would put the person who I was with, of course, first, and I do that now, but I just don't use the jerk part as much, even
Right.
though some people say I should be using it a lot more.
Right.
But I don't. I just stick with the selfless part, which I've been doing for you know, a decade or and some change. But
Right.
I haven't had, to be honest with you, Jay, I haven't had like stories like what you just said. That's really just fucked up. That's plain just fucked up. I've had an incident back in the day where I was being displayed as a nice guy, and I wasn't doing it out of like to get brownie points or to get in her pants. I was doing it because that's just who I was.
That exactly.
And I
That's
think,
who you were, or who I was.
right, and I think that it worked so well to the point where she was kind of like head over heels in a sort of way, but I was the one that actually didn't want anything to do with her. I never forget this. I had two jobs at the time, and I was working my main job, and I had a nighttime job. I was working at a retail store, and one of the women, I should say, yeah, women. She was young too at that time. Had to be like 3 years or 4 years younger than me, and I never forget, man. Her name was Ivy, I think. I think it was Ivy, and interesting name, by the way. And she was head over heels, man. Like I'm not. I don't brag. I'm not a bragger, but she was like, you know, I can see myself with you. She had one child at the time, and I think she was like 3 years old or 2 years old at that time. She had a child, but she was like head over heels. You know, she was very, very nice, very mature. But I just wasn't interested like that. I'm sorry, I just wasn't interested. I wanted something else. I wanted someone else. But she did not give up. She was very persistent, and I saw a little bit of myself in her. Not to the pun over there is the pun in that one was kind of funny.
Exactly.
Yeah. I'm surprised you didn't laugh at that.
Oh, because I didn't want to. You were being so heartfelt that I didn't want to, you know.
Oh no, that was a punny moment, as my dear friend, as my dear friend Owen would say. That was a punny moment. No, but I
just lost his listeners.
we lost like 150 already.
Just from that.
I just remember not being as interested, but I kept with it, man, and it's one of those things where
Okay, well, you were not interested, but would you say you led her on, or did you make it very clear?
I did. No, I did. I did lead her on. That was my fault. I did.
Okay.
I absolutely did. Yeah. I was the idiot that did that. I mean,
How did you lead her on?
because I never gave the notion of not wanting her. I when she brought up relationship stuff, I was always gullible about it, but I never gave the straight answer. Kind of like beating around the bush type thing. And
Now,
I
did
know
you do that? Did you do that to keep her around, or you did it to spare her feelings?
Absolutely.
Which one?
Both.
Okay.
I did it both. I did both because I knew for a fact that it was going to lead to nothing. But I also knew that she was too nice of a person for me to like just completely trample on. Way too nice. And I didn't want to do that. My conscience kicked in, and even though my conscience at that time told me, oh, if you don't want a relationship, say something, it kind of led me to stay with her. I guess, companionship and the feeling of having her there.
Right.
That's the only instance, dude, that I've had thus far with something like that. But I digress, because that story you told me, my God, that must have been horrible.
Okay. No. I mean, I wasn't like crushed or hurting necessarily. I was shocked, and I don't. At some point, a nice guy stops being hurt by these women, and they begin to get angry and take it personally. And I was at a point where any time a guy that I felt was inferior to me was getting a chance with a woman, especially a chance with a woman that I liked, I would get infuriated and take it personally. Like what? Why can't I get a chance? What is wrong with me that I couldn't get a chance? Or what did you find? Because you clearly know, and some of these women knew that the women that they were some of these women knew that the men they were choosing were clearly inferior to me. They even said it, but they would do it anyway. And I would, okay, well, if you can recognize that, what is actually going on here? It doesn't make any sense to me. So I would get infuriated by it, but not necessarily hurt after a while. Now I don't care, whatever. But the Jason took it very personally. Even it was about a story about like a friend getting back with a crappy ex, and I don't even like this friend. When I find out she goes back to the crappy ex, I get personally insulted. I'm like, why are you going back to him? You could find a better guy out there. Why are you giving a crappy guy another chance, another opportunity to be crappy? Nobody learns when you don't stop and think, or stop and just walk away. So that's why I came to the conclusion that women, you have to take what a woman says that she wants with a grain of salt, because she's telling you what she wants, because she's probably saying what she thinks you want to hear, or what she thinks she should be saying, versus what she really, really does want. Because there are a lot of examples of women saying that they want something and they date the exact opposite. You know what I'm trying to say? And it happens a lot. I'm pretty sure it happens with men too, but for the sake of arguments, we're just discussing.
From what I hear, not as often. But you're right, though.
Not as often, because guys, again, is she hot? Does she put out? And can I enjoy myself with her? It's pretty much what we look for. We don't go deeper.
That's pretty much the three keys of asking for. Yeah,
that's it. So really, what we ask, because that's the core values. The women's core values are like 22 different things. So it's a little bit different. But you can't list these 22 things and then you don't either follow the list, or you end up it reminds me of the secret menu at Starbucks. Like, there's a secret menu apparently at Starbucks. If you ask for the secret thing, it's there. So women have what they say they want, but then they have their little secret menu.
What do you mean it's a secret menu? What does that mean? I'm sorry going off topic, but what is that exactly?
Apparently there are certain drinks that are off menu that only like the niche customers know. You can ask, listen, I want that superstar frap, and it's not on the menu, but they know what it is, and they have a price for it and everything. It's like I've heard of it. I've never seen it in action, but I've had, like, one of the girls that I really liked a long time ago. She was a big Starbucks head, and I went to Starbucks with her, and she had mentioned that she knew there was a secret menu, but you have to be a part of a certain clique or a certain inner circle to know the right way to say it to get them to make it. And she was always curious about finding out about these drinks. So
That sounds like some Illuminati thing going on.
no, I think it's just I think it's a cool idea to have a secret menu of regular drinks that only like really die-hard people of your brand know about. It makes things interesting. I think I thought yeah. So, but anyway, we digress. But back to what I'm saying. So, have you heard any stories yourself about women's inconsistency when it comes to what they want versus who they date, or the proverbial phrase, "all men are the same," when in reality, no, we're not.
Yes, but that comes with a price though, because a lot of women, and again, I'm sorry, excuse the background noise, folks. I'm in the middle of doing real life stuff. But no, I definitely don't think that it's part of. Like I feel, I feel when we talk about the idea of women being too picky and expecting too much, and trying to mold this man into something that they want. I feel like all those things.
I lost you. Oh, you feel like what? All those what? You froze. Stop moving around. You're doing so well when you're outside. Now you're freezing up. I got something to do with monologue. Okay, what do you say? You feel like what?
I was saying how I feel like those things sound
Okay,
like
you need to move somewhere else because you're breaking up where you are. Go back to where you were.
Okay.
Is that where you were? That wasn't where you were.
Yeah.
Carry on. You said selfish. I would have heard selfish.
Yes. So I feel like the expectations that women want in a man, and not just the expectations, but the idea that they want to mold this individual. And I should say, as we're talking about man and woman, I feel like, to me, aren't those, in your opinion, and tell me if you agree or disagree, aren't those a little bit traits of like being selfish? Because you want something that you obviously have been seeking, and granted, not everybody on this planet is going to have exactly what you want. Like, it doesn't work out. It never works out that way. But the idea of and I don't say this about men, because we're bred differently when it comes to stuff like that. But this is a complete different scenario topic when it comes to just women, because I feel like they, again, expect way too much when it comes to certain things, and when their expectations are not there, it's more or less a miserable battle to see who's going to break up with who first. I may be going off a tangent right now because I'm kind of ranting about life stories that I've heard in the past and that I've dealt with, but I'm not disregarding your question, Jay, but I feel like part of what you're asking has a little bit to do with what I'm talking about, because I just don't understand how when women act,
you're breaking up again, sir.
Things, and guys, how could you selfishly think that you're what you want when it comes to stuff like that? Like, how can you say stuff like, how could you even remotely speak like that in the first place? Like, why?
Right. Well, because you were talking about preference versus requirement. Now, you can have a preference, So in theory, I prefer to date Asian women, but it's not a requirement. You know what I'm saying? And I haven't in a while. So, but for me to sit down and say, nope, I'm not going to give you a chance because you're not Asian, that's different. So I get what you're saying when it comes to that. But most women have requirements as opposed to just preferences, which is the issue. Is that you can prefer certain things, but to downright have a requirement and say, you have to meet these things, it's one thing. But the problem is, though, is that even if they have requirements, they don't seem to be set in stone, because all it takes is the right anti-guy or the right penis or the right circumstance, and all those traits that maybe some guy really does have go out the window for something completely different. And I'm not saying it's wrong to date out of your type or out of your comfort zone, but what I am saying, though, is that you can't sit here and be so gung-ho, this is what I want, this is what I need, this is what I deserve, and then turn around and date somebody completely different or inferior to your desires, or to an individual who's probably on your league that could have a choice. For example, we go back to the girl who lives 2.5 hours away from me. She said that she doesn't know how to deal with nice guys. She really doesn't. She needs to be with a nice guy because she's only used to dealing with assholes. She meets me. I'm a nice guy, and the first thing she says is, "I think we should be friends." Well, you just said that you are only used to dealing with assholes. Why wouldn't you want to give a nice guy, a genuine guy, at least from what you've seen so far, a shot? Why would you immediately, and I mean immediately, relegate him to a friend, as opposed to letting it cultivate and seeing if there's any romance there? You don't know if there's going to be any romance there, but you shut the door on that already, even though you downright said, I need to be around a nice guy. I need to be with and spend more time with a nice guy. And what I'm saying, and I was just like, that's weird. Why would you do that to me specifically? You know what I'm saying? Which is fine. Maybe you're not physically attracted or whatever it really is. But the simple fact is, there's a criteria. You want to be around nice guys. You want to date a nice guy. You want to spend time with a nice guy and be treated properly. You meet one, and immediately it's, put you in the friend zone. You're a good friend. I need to, carry out my life, kind of thing.
Immediately.
So, and it's stuff like that. Another example for me is the one who rejected me at the beach. She understood. She understood that I was a good guy. She understood I was there for her. She understood that I supported her all these times. She understood that on paper we were fantastic. But she's like, I think we're better off as friends. And I'm just like, what? And again, I'm not downplaying your feelings, a woman's feelings. If a woman feels that they're not attracted to you, not interested in you, that's fine. But what I am saying, though, is if I check off certain boxes, why won't you give it a chance? But you're willing to give somebody who either checks off no boxes or even less boxes a shot. Yes, the laws of attraction you can't help who you like and who likes you, but at the same time, you can, if you recognize, give somebody a chance. I used to be like that. I used to date nonchalantly. That's actually how I ended up dating my kid's mom, and that kind of ruined my life. But I was very nonchalant about dating, meaning if I met somebody, if you liked me, and it was clear you really did like me, and you wanted a shot, I gave you a shot. There are a lot of girls that I dated from junior high school to college, just before I met my kid's mom, where the girl just basically, showed interest in me, and I said, sure, let's date. What's the worst that could happen? I'll go out with you. We'll date for a while, and if we break up, we break up. If I fall for you, I fall for you. If I don't feel it works out, I let you know, and I move forward. I was very, very. Some people would say I didn't take it seriously, but in reality, it was that I gave anybody a shot, no matter what you look like. That's why my harem of exes looks so odd, because it looks like I don't have a type, because I used to date anybody, because I said, you know what?
Old Dr. J. The old Dr. J.
The old Dr. J. And it wasn't because I had low self-esteem, or I just didn't care, or I was getting it in. No, it wasn't even like that. But I said, my phrase, and this is how I've always been, is that I behave in a way that I hope that when the tides are turned, I would get the same respect. So I would give women a chance to date me, okay? Because they liked me, because they wanted a chance, because I would hope that if I ever met a girl that I really liked, Joe, that she would say, you know what? I recognize you're interested in me. Let me give you a chance. I would rather get a chance and be told, no, it's not going to work out. I don't think I'm digging you, than just flat out no. And that's what I used to do. Now, of course, it led to me meeting my kid's mom, and I gave her a chance, and then that became a horrible, disaster for me.
History.
Yeah, and so was history. But so I stopped doing that ever since then. I said, okay, that dating like that is dangerous, apparently. But because you never know who you're going to get involved with, and what you're going to end up behaving, and how you're going to end up reacting. So,
of course.
But that's how I was in the beginning, is that, and it has never happened to me. I've never, in my opinion, really liked a girl, and she said, yeah, I'll give you a shot. Why not? Let's try. It's either a hard yes or a hard no, which is fine, well within your rights. but most of these women that I was attracted to or that I'd interested in would clamor for traits similar to what I had, if not, I surpassed them. You know, you're looking for a domesticated man. You're looking for a guy who's family oriented. You're looking for a guy who can child rear. You're looking for a guy who can cook. I mean, I have all these traits, and yet it wasn't.
He really does. He really does, ladies
Right.
and gentlemen.
So-
And let me just emphasize on the cooking part.
Listen, man,
Yes.
don't get me started on that. Okay, that's all that silver gold training. I mean, taste and presentation. Okay, and I love my presentation. If anybody,
You get
listen,
down, man. You get down.
if anybody saw the ham that I made for this year's Friendsgiving, it is the best looking spread I ever made. I was shocked how good that came out. Because let me tell you something right now. Have you ever pictured something in your head and you created exactly what you pictured? The way that ham looked was exactly how I pictured it in my head.
And you don't do a YouTube show for cooking. I don't know why you don't do that.
Dang. Okay. Say it again.
I don't know why you don't do a YouTube show for cooking.
Oh my God, that would be so much work. I probably now that I'm moving and it's gonna be a better set, I might, but you know, cooking
Just throw down. People love cooking shows. People love cooking shows.
It's true. I can be the male Rachel Ray of YouTube. I can think about it. I mean, my son Joey, who's named after Joe here on the podcast, he likes cooking too, and he wanted to do a cooking show, and I was actually in process of making it called The Curious Chef. So we might be able to do like a father-son thing.
That is so fucking clever. I love it.
Yeah,
That is so clever.
It was going to be a very good show, but it was just kind of hard to work on. So maybe we'll consider it. Even JJ's JJ of course is a friend of ours. Even JJ's girlfriend wanted at one point to do a cooking show with me for her channel. I you know, of course we had a little falling out, and so that didn't end up happening. But
yes.
But yeah, that was part of it. That was so yeah, cooking show, maybe, who knows? That could be what the studio needs to finally take off. But we digress. So
to add on to what you were saying, you were talking about how before we had the satire comedy thing with the clip, and one of the things was actually cooking.
Mhm.
And it's like, you know, what more? What more can you want?
My dude, there are women now that I'm meeting. There are women now that I'm meeting that don't even know how to cook. But I mean, I am so shocked. Like, I mean, nothing.
I know women who can't even cook rice.
Right.
Who can't cook rice?
You know, they don't know how to cook. So it's so bad that when they find out that I can cook, it's either they're astonished or they feel whatever the version of emasculated is for women, defeminized. No,
well,
I'm
honestly,
being serious.
How the fuck can you not be able to? Look, I'm not the best chef. I know how to cook, and I think I cook pretty well.
Right.
Not as good as this guy over here, Jason, but I can definitely cook to the point where I know what I'm doing. But
right.
I have to say, a lot of the times what I've learned through the internet and YouTube, and I don't see how it can be so difficult.
It's not just
as simple as fucking pasta or rice.
Just that. The ingredients and the directions are on the boxes of some of these things. Do you know how I learned how to cook, Joe? It was two ways: following instructions on the box and calling my mommy for help. That's it. I'm dead serious. And then when I would make the dish the way the box instructs it. And once I get comfortable making the dish, then I would eventually put my own spin on it. When I'm trying to recreate my mom's dishes, I would tell Mom, tell me exactly how you remade them, and I'm gonna make them just like you. And then when I get comfortable, I spin them myself. It's not hard. It's trial and error. It really
not
is.
hard.
I taught myself how to cook over the course of years. Plus, of course, you know, I was a fry cook at Silver Gold. I had some other fry cook duties, but home cooking, it was trial and error. It was basically following instructions, because you know what? While raising two kids back to back, you know, whether they're with me part-time or full-time, it was too expensive to rely upon fast food. And so I realized for the same $20 I'd spend on one meal, I can spend $20 on 2 or 3 meals and with ingredients and leftovers. And so I learned, and I pushed through it, and now I'm very comfortable. Now my thing is, I'm so comfortable cooking. Whenever I offer to cook for a woman, I say, listen, I'll cook for you, because they go, oh, why don't you cook for me? I said, I will cook for you. I said, but under one condition. It has to be your favorite food, and it has to be something I've never tried before. Yeah, I want
Conditions.
I want that, I want that challenge. You know, I've done shrimp Alfredo. I don't eat shrimp, so when I made shrimp Alfredo for the first time, she ate it. She kind of liked it because it was a little too salty because I seasoned it, but I refused to taste it because I don't like shrimp. So it was she said it was a little too salty. I don't know how salty it was. She ate it all though, but I just refused to taste it. I couldn't. I was like, I don't like Alfredo sauce and I don't like shrimp. I don't
It was
saute
too
it
much.
together. But you know, stuff like that. Those are examples of what I've done, and she appreciated it. You know, and which was great. And you know, I'm a great host. You know, but in your opinion, why do you think women list these traits, claiming this is what they want, but often or not do not attract or date men that embody most of these traits? Why do you think that?
Question is something that a lot of people, even the most intelligent men out there in the world, and doctors alike, I think that question, which is said so perfectly, and I mean that because I can honestly sit here and say, after being on this planet for 33 years, dealing with obviously my mother and numerous women and
Yes.
exes and my current soon-to-be wife,
Mm-hmm.
I could say that
Allegedly.
I could say that I could say that you know these things, I don't think there's a direct answer for them because again, and if I had to go ahead and maybe pinpoint certain things or nitpick certain topics, I'd say women, especially young women nowadays, I have to say, I'm not talking about more of the mature older women, not so much. I would suspect, but the young ones, they gravitate towards social media.
Yes.
They gravitate towards this online facade of
Yes.
this guy who is living in the UK, has a great haircut, a perfect body, is a model and has businesses open. I think women get confused and caught up with the fact that, right, they do exist. Those guys do exist, which is fine and great for them. But you have to understand something, that just because you want that, and this is the age-old saying for even children, doesn't mean you're going to get it. And at the end of the
Mm-hmm.
day, you can try all you want. Now, women would sit here, like even the most beautiful woman could sit here and in your face and be like, well, you know what? I don't believe in that shit because I can go to a bar right now and all I got to do is just flirt and spread my legs and that's it. I got them, which is true. Which is true.
It's very
Sad
true.
to say, it's incredibly true. And the power that they have is enormous. And I respect that.
Power of the
In
pussy.
in some weird way, I actually respect it. But at the same time, you have to understand that if we're gonna go in the schematics of things, you can't sit here and expect, especially if you are with somebody already. You have a great man. He does what he's supposed to do. He pays his bills. He has a job. He respects you. He takes care of you. He looks after you. He's selfless. All these great traits, but then you sit here in the back of your head, like, well, I expected this, or I wish he was this. Those things are, not only are they disrespectful and flat out fucked up, but at the same time, you can, guys out there, regardless of how manly and stuff that, that they may claim that they are, even though they'll sit here and puff their chest up enormously, they still have these
We call that
which,
the Joe Tara syndrome.
of course, they still have these feelings and emotions, and if you say stuff like that, even when you're doing the right thing in the relationship, don't you think that that's kind of a fucked up, selfish thing to say? That's why I don't. I'm speaking harshly because I'm speaking from experience, and I feel like you cannot sit here and, and I'm speaking for those women in those relationships who have the guy already, and he's not a bad guy. He's very good. He's overall a great, decent man, but yet you still sit here in the back of your head and expect, and wish that he was this, that, and the third, and had this, that, and the third, well, guess what? If that's how you really feel and that's the thing that bothers you that much, leave him. Because I'm pretty sure that he can find a woman who appreciates everything that you've gotten and then some. And
You would
then
hope so.
would hope so, of course, obviously. But I don't like that type of thinking, man. And I think I'm seeing it more than ever nowadays.
That women
and
are just
this-
not satisfied with their partner.
They're not at all, and it's not even. You can't even sit here and you can't even sit here and say stuff like, oh, it's because of the sex is great. I'm satisfied with that, but everything else, like, not even nowadays, not even the sex can keep you, from losing or being being in a relationship. Like, not even that can do that no more. So the idea that that these women say these things, to me, it really kind of irks me, man. It hits me a different way because I don't like that. Especially, again, if the guys like me and you and they're great, decent people. Why do that? Why say that? Why say that? I just don't get it.
Well, before we wrap up this,
what do you think about that? Like,
what I think about what?
No, I mean, do you agree with me, or do you have like, do you think that, when women say this in general, do you think it's kind of like a fucked up thing? Do you think it's like something that they shouldn't be saying?
Here's the thing, and I have to be, honest, because I was in a situation like that on the periph. So I had an ex-friend, and he had a girlfriend, and they were living together. He bought a house. He put her name on the deed. He was great. He was great, but he was in his mid 30s. She was in her early 20s. So they're on two different wavelengths. He's comfortable with what he's doing. She's kind of like still wants to be social, meet people, and do stuff. You know what I'm saying? And all he wanted to do was, not all he wanted to do, but he was comfortable coming home, hanging out with the boys, maybe smoking some weed. He was comfortable with his job. He wasn't going any. He didn't seem to like he wanted to go any further. He was good, but she wanted more. She's like, this is not enough. You have a good car, we have a house, but you can go to school and you can do more. We can go out and be social, and so she wasn't satisfied with all the good that he brought to it, and they were having problems now. They were really beginning to butt heads because of it, because she wanted, to live her life, and he seemed to be, living a sedentary life. And she's like, well, I'm young. Is this it? Is this my life now? Is this as far as it gets? I mean, and I wouldn't say I sided with her, but I understood where she was coming on, and right. I tried to support my homie and say, listen, what she's asking for isn't unreasonable. She's a young lady. She still wants to be social. She wants to go out every now and then. She wants you to do better. She wants you to go to school, and I don't think she's encouraging you. Right. Well, in the end, he didn't really, besides going to the gym with me, he didn't really reciprocate these feelings. And eventually they broke up. And she left him. And of course, her leaving him because of these simple things, he was, super upset about it. And because I didn't find fault in her decision to break up with him, my friendship with him ended because he expected me to cut her off completely. And I said, well, hey, check it out. One, me and her have a friendship outside of your relationship, and I told you that. You knew this a long time ago. Right. And two, she didn't do anything to you. I mean, yes, right. She broke up with you and she might have broken your heart, but she gave you every opportunity to address her concerns and what she wanted, and you didn't reciprocate, and you guys began to have a communication issue. And
right.
I mean, she didn't cheat on you. She didn't steal your money. She just said, I want more, and I'm not happy. You're allowed to say that. So, but it goes back to what you were saying. He was a great guy to her. He provided. She didn't have to pay any bills. She lived with him. He would cook, because I don't think she knew how to cook, or she didn't cook very well, or she didn't cook many things.
Surprise.
He bought a house. She didn't put anything down on the house. He put her name on the deed. Like, you're an owner. He thought this is the one. He did everything right, in my opinion, as well. So when you ask me how I feel about a woman who's with a man but is coveting other things, looking for other things, I kind of been there, and I kind of didn't find fault in a woman that I knew personally who did that, who stepped out on a really good guy, And I'm pretty sure she ended up regretting it. I don't know if she's with somebody now. We lost contact, but I'm pretty sure I don't know. I'm not pretty sure. I'm positive she regretted it because I know this for effective conversations. And I'm just like, okay, well, so what if there's another woman out there feeling the same way? But so it all depends. If you're coming at it from a very altruistic, I want to better us kind of thing, not you need to better yourself, you're not being selfish, then you're allowed to feel that. But if you're coming at it as I deserve better than this, I need better than this, and you aren't the best that I can get, then no, I don't agree with it. Then you're a piece of crap of a woman.
I agree.
And let that go. So it all depends upon the intent and the real core factor of why you feel unfulfilled in a relationship. If it is a genuine
100%.
fulfillment, then sure. But if it stems purely out of selfishness and out of greed and out of being being stuck up or whatever, then no, I don't agree. So it's a two-sided.
Or as they say nowadays, bougie.
Bougie, stush,
Stush.
So, but before we wrap this up, what would you say to a woman who has a set of criteria for listing what she wants in a man, but seems to be always picking the exact opposite? What would you say to her?
Reevaluate yourself. Maybe spend some time.
That's right. Fix your life.
I will. No, I mean it's funny that you say it the way. It's funny you say that, but it's true. You need to fix you. I'm not some type of guru or some motivational speaker, but at the end of the day,
oh, don't sell yourself short.
Real funny. If you're constantly picking the bad apples, as they say, if you're constantly picking the bad apples, as they say, over and over and over again, then the pattern is never going to stop. Right. Regardless of how much you try to make it stop, it's not going to, in my opinion. And I think that you need to spend some more time with yourself and enjoy yourself. And I think someone told me this a while back, because I was one of those guys back then that would just jump from relationship to relationship, even though it really wasn't like a relationship type thing. Right. It was more like a situationship, or whatever the fuck they call it nowadays. And
God,
yeah, like
phrase. I haven't heard that phrase. I've never used that phrase before in my life. Woman who's probably listening.
I've had at least a couple of times, and these fly by nights relationships where it lasted for like 2-3 weeks or a month. You have to understand that it's not healthy. It's great to meet people. It's great to be social. I'm not saying you can't do any of that, but right. If you're gonna give yourself out there and give yourself period, I think that and you give yourself and you're receiving bad energy and negativity, you need to stay by yourself. Be single. I don't think it's the best idea to go ahead and complain, either complain or bitch. And I'm not trying to be harsh, but it's not good to complain, bitch, and moan about how you keep seeing and you keep finding these bad apples. Well, the reason why you keep finding them and they keep doing these things to you is because they can. They know. They're not stupid. They can walk right over you and walk all over you because they know that you're weak. You're weak-minded because you keep on jumping from the same type of individual to another individual. And again, I'm not trying to be a dickhead, but you need to understand if you don't enjoy your company, your own company, if you don't enjoy your company, I'm talking about you by being by yourself, you're not going to enjoy somebody else, whether they're good or not. I just think that for the women out there who seem to continuously find these asshole guys over and over again, stop. Take a breather, take a deep breath, reevaluate yourself, and just be by yourself for a little bit. And then when you feel like you're ready, by all means, jump right back in. Who knows? You might even like, as they say, level up in the gaming world and be this fantastic individual who doesn't take shit and won't settle for less. I'm just saying. I mean, that's just my 2 cents about it. Being by yourself is fucking fantastic. You learn so much. And it's one of the best feelings in the world. I mean, I had to learn the hard way about that. And I can say that even though my fiance is a pain in the ass, I love her dearly and I can handle her because I know how to deal with certain situations. I can slip here and there, but hey, everyone does. We're not perfect. But I will say that, to answer your question, that's my 2 cents. I feel like, just get to know yourself a little better, like just
2 cents my ass. That was $1.50. So, yeah, I agree with what you say. I mean, all I can add to that is women, humble thyself. Recognize what you claim you want in a man, but at the same time recognize what you obviously don't want in a man, or what you're ignoring, and recognizing that maybe the guy that's worth your time, that may not be happily ever after, but a guy that is worth your time might actually be standing right next to you, and standing behind you, and being that person that you're looking for is right there. There is no problem with giving a chance to somebody who's there, who's earned it, who has earned it, and give the opportunity. Yes, there's a chance you may ruin the connection, but in the end, it's not sustainable to have somebody in your corner that feels a certain way for you, and they know eventually that they're never gonna get a shot. Don't leave them on the hook. They're right there. The person that you probably need to be giving a chance to, other than these crappy guys, is right there. They're the one. They're sitting next to you at work. They're buying you a cup of coffee. In front of you. They're giving you a ride. They're texting you saying, "Hi, beautiful. How are you?" They're right there. Give them a shot. That's what I'm saying. Because in the end, you have no idea what can blossom from just a chance. It comes out of nowhere. So that being said, before we wrap up, we actually have comments from our previous episode, which was episode 7, which was what was episode 7 about again? Oh, episode 7 was I'm forgetting, my head is always blank. It's No, I Don't Want to Be Your Friend. So I asked the question, why would a man who gets rejected by a woman want to be her friend, or why does he should be forced to be her friend or accept her friendship? And Nicole LeBlanc, she says, hell no, move the funk on, far away from the walking thirst trap. That would be friend zone. So thanks a lot for that, Nicole. Nicole said, absolutely do not be her friend because you're about to get yourself friend zone. Also, On Fire Productions, that's Lori. She actually commented on our screenshot of episode 7 and 8 on Instagram. She goes, I want to hear this topic. I asked her which topic she was referring to. I think she was talking about No, I Don't Want to Be Your Friend. So I sent her the link. I'm looking forward to Lori. I'm looking forward to you listening to the episode and sending us your comment. I'd love to know what you think. Please send us a response. And then also, as a response to the same question, George Martinez, who is actually the cousin-in-law of my ex-girlfriend, who dumped me on the cruise that led to the studio. Funny stuff. Yes. What I'm talking about, we're talking about 9 years ago, water under the bridge. But I had to say that because you would appreciate this. And he says, and this again, so the same question: why would a man want to accept a friendship or remain friends with a girl who rejected him? He says, why not? You live your best life and watch her weep from the rearview mirror. So I replied with, or vice versa, watch her get with other dudes while you're holding her purse. Sounds like torture to me. So he responded with, nah, if you hold ex's purse, you should be neutered, like subtle vindictiveness. And I said, I replied to him, I said, no, we're not talking about exes, we're talking about girls who rejected him. He never commented back, at least I don't think, because I haven't looked at it, but that's basically what it is. He said, his response was, why not? Live your best life and let her feel bad if she had a chance with you. And I want to tell you right now, I used to believe that shit doesn't work.
It doesn't.
That shit does not work at all. It does not work. I mean, I would keep these girls around, and I would go out on other dates, and I'd live my life and show up how great a guy I am. They wouldn't give two shits. They would not in any way, shape, or form change their mind or make them be like, damn, I wish I was with him. So I don't know, but George, thanks for commenting. I really appreciate it. And
yes, thank you,
guys. Yeah, so please, guys, if you're out there, subscribe to this podcast on your favorite podcasting app. Rate and share. Of course, we have our video recaps that come up on youtube.com/VibeRep Studios. Comment and like those too. What you guys don't know is that YouTube has changed its algorithm, and now independent content creators now are getting shafted in favor of corporates. So you have to show some love to us. Comment, share, email us by all means, and that's about it. So I'm Jason.
I'm Joe.
And we thank you for your time.
The Last of the Nice Guys. Follow, like, and subscribe on Twitter and Instagram at Last Nice Guys, Facebook.com/Last Nice Guys, or email lastoftheniceguys@yahoo.com.
This is an audio production of Vibe Revelation Studios, the cure for your common day. VibeRevStudios.com.